Assalamualaikum. Welcome back to another episode of Happy Chirps. Today I have with me Serish, who is the owner of Bizbee, which is basically a platform that has everything to do with sustainable fashion. And today we're going to talk to Serish about exactly what it is and why it is. How are you, Serish?
I'm good. How are you? Thank
I'm
you
good.
so much for inviting me.
No, thank you for coming.
It's an absolute pleasure.
So what you're doing is amazing. ठीक है, like it's something that is very close to my heart because मैं जब लाहौर में रहती थी वहाँ पर ना like people are very fashion obsessed
Yeah.
and the whole idea of क्या उसे कहते हैं seasonal lawn नहीं होता
Yeah.
and like वो you know
और
बस
एक से दूसरी सीजन रिपीट भी नहीं
रिपीट भी नहीं करना एंड इवन लाइक लोगों का होता है वो वॉल्यूम्स भी रिपीट नहीं करनी
Oh, yeah.
फैशन वो वॉल्यूम 1 वॉल्यूम 2
people would know.
And
If you're
people
wearing,
would know.
yeah,
वहाँ पर बहुत ज़्यादा था यहाँ पर मैंने इतना नहीं देखा बट इन
yeah.
लाहौर इट वाज लाइक इनसेन और यू नो अच्छा सैफायर के नए कपड़े आए तो लाइनें लगी हुई हैं बाहर
Yes.
के अच्छा यू नो so that whole thing sort of used to really bug me so it's a cause it's very very personal to me कि यार like this is not how it should be especially because of like society being very judgmental of the people
Absolutely.
who don't do that
Yes.
you know so वैसे तो there are a billion aspects to it but
Yeah.
for me personally this was the pain point कि यार क्या बकवास है like why are you judging people for
Yeah.
not wearing the latest sort of lawn
And even if you repeat clothes for like twice, people would know. Oh, ये तो उसने पिछले हफ्ते भी
हाँ,
पहना था.
हाँ.
उसके पास कपड़े नहीं है.
हाँ, and trust me, like as a blogger, like I repeat clothes
yes.
all the
Yeah.
time, you know, like, but इससे normally नहीं होता.
Absolutely.
So this is very interesting. But like before we get deep into that, I want to ask you, like, what Bizbee is, and then we'll talk about why it started. So what do you do at Bizbee?
So Bizbee is basically an online platform that we started for the buying and selling of pre-loved apparel and accessories. So initially we started, Bizbee was BizBride. So
Acha.
initially the idea started as a platform for women to sell off their bridals and party wear. क्योंकि bridals और party wear तो obviously reuse नहीं होते, so they just rot in the closet. So that is where the idea came from. But then eventually we pivoted because हमारी customer demand was more towards daily wear, lawns. So hence we then now shifted, rebranded from BizBride to Bizbee, and now we have a varied range of categories for people to buy from, ranging from accessories, shoes to daily wear to party wear.
So it's like a marketplace जिधर आप buyers और sellers को
Link करते
connect करते
Yes,
हैं where
absolutely.
people can buy clothes from other people who are selling on it.
Yes.
ठीक
So
है.
basically how we like to say it is that we are helping women digitize their wardrobes and we're making it accessible to fashion lovers across Pakistan.
That's
So
such a nice concept वैसे very nice. Right. So why?
Okay, why? So I will go back a bit to my bachpan. So I was a girl who was a clothes repeater. I used to wear clothes for years until they were torn. And my mom used to get very pissed at me because of that. So I was she would be like, "क्या तुम वही भिखारियों की तरह वही कपड़े पहनती रहती हो?" But it made sense to me. Like I didn't feel like I need to change new clothes every season, right? But I was surrounded by my best friend was a fashion addict. My mom was super into clothes. So I was always surrounded by women who would open up their wardrobes and the first thing that they would say is कि oh मेरे पास तो कुछ पहनने को नहीं है. और मैं कहती थी मेरे मुंह पे वो उल्टी आ रही है अलमारी की कपड़ों की and then how can you say कि मेरे पास कुछ पहनने को नहीं है. पर वो चीज़ जो बॉदर बहुत करती थी मेरा भाई ना मुझे बचपन से मॉरल पुलिस कहता था. सो मैं मॉरल पुलिस बन के कहती थी कि आप लोग क्या कर रहे हैं ये कपड़े ज़ाया कर रहे हैं बट उनको फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता था बेसिकली. बट वो चीज़ मुझे बड़ी बॉदर करती थी. सो आई थिंक फास्ट फॉरवर्ड 10-12 years down the line I started working as a digital marketer. तो एक दिन फेसबुक स्क्रॉल करते ही मुझे एक पोस्ट मिली जिसमें एक लड़की ने फेसबुक पे ही एक ग्रुप में अपना वेडिंग ड्रेस सेलिंग के लिए लगाया था.
ठीक है.
And then I was like, why don't we have a platform for that? And then I started researching. I couldn't find something. I was like, this is what I need to do. मेरे वो जो बचपन की एक moral police अंदर छुपी हुई थी ना कि
वो बाहर आ गई.
This is your time to shine. So yeah, that is primarily, I think, the itch point that was there forever, which I ended up trying to solve with Bisbee.
Acha. And then how did you sort of set up the platform? What was the process? Kaise hua?
So I was lucky in that regard. I was already working in my husband's company, so he has a software company. So I pitched the idea to him and his partner. They agreed. So they then, because it was a software company, so I had the tech support from them. So I then became the acting CEO of the company, founder and acting CEO, and then the tech support and marketing support, monetary support I was getting from them. So I was lucky in the regard that I had the support system there already to jumpstart the business. But my husband is he's a serial entrepreneur, but he's a very calculated businessman. तो हमने शुरू इस तरह किया था कि I didn't jump into a website because ये market tested नहीं थी. So I didn't know if the idea would work or not. So initially मैंने फिर अपनी expertise use किया. I just made a Facebook page, an Insta page. I gathered some clothes from friends and family, and then I just started testing out the waters. तो जब मुझे response समझ आना शुरू हुआ, तो that's when we started developing the website, and that's how we've grown up till now.
So started with like DMs and stuff, right?
Yeah. Purely relying on DMs because I didn't want to invest without knowing if the market is there.
Kitna time ho gaya hai BSB ko?
It's been now 2 years since we've been in the market. Exciting 2 years. This year particularly, I've seen more of an inclination of people accepting the idea this year as compared to last year. Primarily, ek to COVID ki wajah se there was...
I was just going to say this.
Yeah, COVID was a massive... So even when I'm talking to some of my international investors, so I tell them COVID was... a big shift in the mindset for people in Pakistan as well. उसके बाद मैंने एक डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ एक्सेप्टेंस देखी टुवर्ड्स द कॉन्सेप्ट. अब उसकी मल्टीट्यूड ऑफ रीजंस हो सकते हैं. इट कुड बी दैट पीपल हैड मोर टाइम टू क्लीन आउट देयर क्लोजेट्स, could be that their inner ethics just
I think personally, I think because COVID really got people to slow down in life, so I think you sort of reflect ke yaar, like aap dekhte you get to see your wardrobe more, spend more time thinking कि यार इतने कपड़ों के साथ मैंने क्या करना है, क्यों, especially because you're not going anywhere, you know, as well. तो इतने सारे कपड़ों के साथ क्या करना है, and you know, आप एक रिफ्लेक्ट करते हो कि यार क्या ज़रूरत है इतना कुछ खरीदने की और वो.
Absolutely, yes.
Plus, I think at the back of our heads, there has been a conversation on fast fashion going on a lot recently. So I guess with COVID and with free time and with, I think, people really looked internally COVID की वजह से कि you know how they've been, like you said, कि वो एक ethics अंदर की बाहर आ गई. हाँ, so मतलब कोई पॉइंट भी नहीं होता ना कि आपने कितने लॉन के जोड़े खरीदने जब आपने कहीं जाना ही नहीं है.
वो रिपीट भी नहीं करना, कि चलो अब ले लो, but then you wear it 4-5 times, तो okay पैसा वसूल. But no, you can't even wear it twice. And then so COVID के during जब ये एक shift आना शुरू हुआ, so I was at that time incubated in a fashion tech acceleration program which was in France, Paris में. अच्छा. तो उसी time March में, अच्छा actually I had to move for 6 months, but COVID hit. Yes, March में ही मेरी flight थी, end of March, and then March 25th came the but मेरा उनके साथ, क्योंकि I was with them online, तो I learned so much from them. So उधर global market में COVID की वजह से the market grew from a $35 billion industry to a $62 billion industry. It is now a market that is bigger than the fast fashion market.
Oh my God.
Yes. So there has been a massive
And you're talking about France.
We're talking about the global market.
Acha, global
market mein, the number has jumped from 35 million. It has grown from $35 million industry to a $62 million industry.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So people are now actively making choosing secondhand and choosing pre-loved as a lifestyle option. They're taking it as a lifestyle change in the global markets as well.
एक acceptance ज़्यादा आ गई है towards this.
आपको पता है so इसी COVID no one would in their wildest dreams imagine कि Gucci has come into the second hand space.
अच्छा.
H&M has come into the second hand space. Gucci की जो parent company है Kering Group, they have invested in जो यूरोप में एक सबसे बड़ा प्लेयर है by the name of Vestiaire Collective.
अच्छा.
So they have invested in them 5% shares के लिए. तो इतनी massive changes हुई है ना in the fashion industry. और again France is the hub of fashion.
मैं exactly कहना चाह रही थी कि France is the hub of fashion.
Yes, और luxury fashion, not fashion, luxury fashion. तो अगर वो लोग accept कर रहे हैं ना, तो अब वो it's a matter of time that in the next 5-10 years second hand will be a big market on a global level. Yeah.
So you stepped into the right thing at the right time. Yes. That's amazing. Aसल में I think there are a lot of like reasons to really like मतलब हम अब 2022 में जा रहे हैं. So there are a lot of reasons to be educated enough to realize how fast fashion is not good for anybody.
Absolutely.
So आप हमें बता सकती हैं थोड़ा सा कि what are some of the reasons why fast fashion is not the best for us and why second hand and pre-loved is the way to go now.
Yeah. So again, before I will not say that these are the reasons that I got into the business because ये चीज़ें मेरे mind में नहीं थी. But definitely when I got into the business, I started doing research कि global level पे why is it such a big thing, right?
It's not just an individual impact. It's a global impact.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
I really want to talk about that so that
so,
other people get to know as well.
When I started reading upon it, I was surprised to know that fashion is the second biggest polluting industry in the world.
Yes.
I did not know that before starting Bisbee. To produce one shirt, it takes about 2,500 liters of water, which is enough for one person to consume over 2.5 years. So imagine the impact.
Imagine out of water that is being wasted.
Yes, and then water shortage is such a huge problem for some countries. And then imagine that one T-shirt is taking up so much water. और फिर जब आप सोचते हो जिस massive level पे हो रही है production, तो it's not, we can't even imagine it. Then fashion industry is responsible for producing about 2.5 billion tons of waste annually. So when I started reading upon these numbers, it was a shock for me. And then I realized कि अच्छा जो मैं कर रही हूँ, rather than it just being a logical thing to do, it has such a massive impact on a global level. And एक बंदे की involvement in this entire, if they adopt this process, it could make such a huge difference. So basically जो concept है वो यही है कि recycling, जिस तरह हम बाकी materials को
paper, plastic.
Yes. So uska recycling is a big thing that is being talked about आजकल. So this is exactly like recycling because, for example, अगर आपको लगता है अच्छा आपने 2 दफ़ा एक कपड़े पहन लिए, it's in mint condition, but you just don't want to wear it again, you can sell it off, and then with that money, you could buy another pre-loved dress. So in a circle, you have completed the process of recycling. So you haven't only saved money, but you've also made a sustainable choice and helped someone else make a sustainable choice. So yeah, that is I think if you look at the micro level of this, it is so there's a fun fact. I was again reading. I found out that statistics show on a global level that 50% of an average woman's wardrobe is useless. she does not use 50% of her wardrobe. And then I started reflecting on it, and then I was like, that is so true. I know women, and then they absolutely only use less than 50% of the clothes that are there in the wardrobes. And अब मैं ये नहीं कह सकती औरतें फैशन करना नहीं छोड़ सकती, जिनको शौक है वो नहीं छोड़ेंगे, एंड इट्स इलॉजिकल फॉर मी टू थिंक दैट, बट व्हाट कैन हैपन इज के they can still celebrate their love of fashion while being responsible. तो वो नए कपड़े ज़रूर लें, but they choose pre-loved. So once they'll keep on choosing pre-loved, they'll have they'll keep on revamping their wardrobes, but they'll be doing it in a more sustainable way. So yeah.
That's awesome. Like it's just कि इस छोटी सी चीज़ का अगर हम लोग अपना लाइफस्टाइल चेंज कर लें and we start doing this more responsibly, तो उसका कितना ज़्यादा like मैसिव इम्पैक्ट है जो हम रियलाइज ही नहीं करते कि यू नो हमारी एक छोटी सी चॉइस से ग्लोबली कितना फ़र्क पड़ता है. Right. And what was your major struggle when it came to this Bisbee?
My major struggle was the social stigma that was attached with secondhand buying. So when I started, I got to hear a couple of there were a couple of things I got to hear a lot. The number one being, "Oh, tum landa bechti ho." So which I had to reply to every time ke by definition landa means export leftovers from London. I don't sell clothes from London. I sell clothes which women have in their wardrobes. फिर उस पर मुझे उसके अलावा बड़ा सुनने को मिला, ओ मैं तो कभी किसी की उतरा ना पहनूं. And then I was like, don't you wear your sister's clothes or your friend's clothes or your friend's jacket? Then how is this any different? And then उसके अलावा I got to hear, नहीं ये तो कभी भी नहीं चलेगा, कौन बेचेगा अपने कपड़े, मैं तो डोनेट करती हूँ, मैं तो कभी ना बेचूँ. And then I was like, it's not like आप गरीब हो इसलिए बेच रहे हो, it's just that you sell off that and then use the same money to buy new clothes, or you could give that off to charity. एक बंदे के लिए एक सना सफीनाज, एक गरीब के लिए एक सना सफीनाज का जोड़ा is not valuable, the money is valuable, right? So ये जो social stigma था वो इतना massive था शुरू में तो कि I had like if I knew 10 people, 9 would say कि you're being stupid. And only one would say कि अच्छा ये काम कर जाएगा.
अच्छा वैसे I'm surprised वैसे कि most people reacted like that, because I feel like कि हम you know हम इतना आगे अब आ चुके हैं कि हमें इस चीज़ की understanding हो कि भाई like there's no big deal, you know, in re-wearing someone's clothes or whatever, it's not a big deal. Like I didn't expect कि you know people would still be like कि नहीं, you know, ew.
Oh, you have no idea. And then they made me feel bad about it. Acha, so mera I buy Bisbee. I buy from Bisbee a lot. Kyunki if I'm getting a Zara shirt for 1,200 rupees, why not? Spend 8,000 rupees on it, right? And they're in mint condition. लड़कियों का यही होता है ना, लड़कियां बड़े संभाल के कपड़े रखती हैं. So they're in absolute mint condition, right? तो बट ये एक इतना मैसिव अभी भी अगर कोई फॉर एग्जाम्पल even if someone is wearing Bisbee, they would never ever be okay saying that they're wearing second hand. Even if they're selling second hand, they wouldn't be okay saying they're selling second hand. There have been a few notable people who specifically said that मेरा नाम mention नहीं होना चाहिए. तो I don't get it. It logically doesn't make sense to me कि इसमें like शर्म की क्या बात है, right? But ये social stigma अभी भी to this point अभी मतलब खैर वही बात है कि I'm beyond what I had faced initially. But ये एक I think ongoing struggle मेरी है, which is somehow making people feel okay, it's absolutely normal to wear second hand, and it's actually a responsible choice that you make.
I think eventually पता है क्या होता ये भी है कि all these things of responsibility and you know ethical buying, selling and sustainability, it also starts to trend.
Yes.
then people do these things
Yes.
because that's also the cooler thing to do.
Yes.
ऐसे भी तो होता है ना.
वही अब ये
And that's beginning to happen.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Again, वही बात है. There are very few even influencers who would be ready to talk about it, but yes, there are some now. At least if none. क्योंकि एक time से there were none. उनको आप बात भी करते थे तो they would get like they would get offended. But ये है कि yes, आहिस्ता आहिस्ता वो so वही बात है कि आपकी society. So अभी आज के if you talk about today's time. Celebrities से ज़्यादा अभी जो say है in the society, it's of influencers. So if they start normalizing, वही बात एक trickle down effect होगा.
Yeah.
If they start saying that it's okay to wear second hand and I'm wearing second hand or I'm selling second hand, it's a matter of time that the society starts accepting it. और yes, हमारी generation would still relatively be open to it, relatively. But ये है कि हमारी से जो ऊपर वाली generation है वो तो मैं तो जब अपनी I told my mom कि मैं ये start कर रही हूँ and then she was like तुम्हें क्या ज़रूरत है कपड़े बेचने की. मैंने कहा नहीं मैं अपने कपड़े नहीं बेचती. I just made a platform for it and then she was like नहीं it doesn't make sense. And all of the aunties that I talked to वो तो बिल्कुल like बिल्कुल ही रिपेल कर गई थी आइडिया से. बट हमारी जनरेशन फिर भी
a bit more open.
A bit, yes. They won't openly accept it,
but they'll do it.
But they do it, yes.
Yeah, your business is running.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit how do you what's the process?
Yeah. So it's a fairly simple process for the sellers. They just have to register themselves on the website. We have an app as well. So they can register themselves on either platform, and then they can list as many items as they want free of cost. So the listing process is कि आपका एक form होता है which you have to fill जिसमें आपने clear pictures लेनी होती हैं कपड़े की, and then you have to add in the original price and then the sale price, and then उसमें फिर कपड़े की details, size, etc. So that it's easier for the buyer to make the choice, right? तो seller ने that's all the seller has to do. फिर जब एक दफ़ा आपका order place हो गया for example, तो हम लोग ड्रेस को पिक करते हैं आपके घर से एंड देन वी गेट इट शिप टू आवर ऑफिस. इट गोज थ्रू अ क्वालिटी चेक एंड देन वी पैकेज इट एंड देन वी शिप इट टू द एंड बायर. अगर कोई डिफेक्ट होता है देन वी सेंड इट बैक टू द सेलर. अगर एक सेलर के 3 से ज़्यादा दफ़ा अगर हमें डिफेक्टेड आइटम रिसीव होता है तो then we blacklist the seller.
Acha. So basically you have to be a registered seller on your platform.
Yes. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And for the buyer, you can shop on the e-commerce platform, you can shop on Instagram, whatever
you want.
Yeah.
Sahi. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's good that you guys, it's not like directly between the buyer and seller.
Yes.
You're just providing the platform, but you're taking the clothes, you're vetting the clothes, you're doing a quality check, packaging it, then sending it.
Because एक बड़ी चीज जो प्रॉब्लम थी ना, जो मैं इवन जब मैंने फेसबुक ग्रुप जब मुझे मिला कि अच्छा यहाँ पे कुछ लोग अपने कपड़े बेच रहे हैं, when I started studying the group, तो फ्रॉड बहुत हो रहा था ऑन बोथ एंड्स. सेलर के साथ ये होता था कि सेलर कपड़ा भेज देता था, बायर पैसे नहीं ट्रांसफर करता था, और बायर के साथ ये होता था कि जो पिक्चर होती थी वो पैसे ट्रांसफर कर चुका होता था, वो चीज़ होती नहीं थी, वो ब्लॉक कर.
So that's good ना. So that means that your marketplace is actually mitigating that.
Absolutely.
आप वो फिर that it goes through a very verified process.
Absolutely.
That then the buyers and sellers don't have to worry. And what is is it cash on delivery? Is it what? It's cash on delivery.
Yeah. It's cash on delivery for the buyers. And then because वही बात है, so there हमारे लिए ना एक double-edged sword थी when we were starting. क्योंकि e-commerce in itself की acceptability अभी काफ़ी low है. There are a lot of trust issues that people have.
Yeah.
तो एक तो वो मसला था e-commerce in general, and then to top it off, the second red flag was के second hand items हैं. तो वो उस चीज़ को mitigate करने के लिए
COD works best.
Yes. People are comfortable.
Yes. पहले से पैसे नहीं दिए हुए ना.
Absolutely. So ये होता है कि हम COD customer को offer करते हैं, and then after the dress is delivered, then we transfer the payment online to the sellers.
Yeah. So you keep your commission and then you send the money to the sellers.
Yeah.
अच्छा सही.
और एक अच्छी चीज़ इससे ये हुई है जो हमने अनइंटेंशनली किया, मैं इसका क्रेडिट नहीं लूँगी कि हमने को कमाल एक्टिवली कमाल किया, बट मेरे साथ बहुत सारी सेलर्स हैं हु आर वेरी एक्टिव सेलर्स जिनके मंथली दे पुट इन न्यू क्लोथ्स एवरी मंथ, सो लॉट ऑफ देम डिडंट हैव देयर ओन बैंक अकाउंट्स, सो लॉट ऑफ देम डिड एंड अप ओपनिंग देयर बैंक अकाउंट्स क्योंकि हमारी पेमेंट इवेंचुअली होती ऑनलाइन ट्रांसफर ही है. So eventually, I think we helped them become more financially inclusive and independent as well.
They started having an income of their
Yes.
own in a way. And it's so interesting. They're doing this great thing, which is like socially and environmentally so responsible,
Yes.
and then they're making money with
Yes.
that. That's awesome.
It's a lot
It's basically the jo platform hai pura. In a bigger picture, it's doing all of these great
Yeah,
things.
in their own space.
Or
yes.
वैसे भी doing like any business, you
Yes.
help people make jobs in the first place. तो वो तो वैसे ही एक अच्छी चीज होती है.
Absolutely, yes.
How many people do you have working with you?
So currently in the team we have full time we have 5 people working. But other than that, the extended support I have of Kurdistan, which is the tech team.
अच्छा, the tech team.
Yeah.
हाँ. But like जो verify करनी है, वो सब
actively
करें.
we have 5 people to work on the operations. One is for customer support, and then there's one person who only manages the quality of
Check.
the clothes. Yes. Yes.
सही.
So Baki, I handle the marketing and growth and again PR of the
PR.
business. Yes.
सही. And I saw your page. It's quite huge. So in 2 years, you've come, mashallah, like
Yeah.
really far. But like I heard that you recently got picked up by Silicon Valley
Yes.
as well. वो कैसे हुआ?
So
वो क्या होता है? Like help people understand
Yes, so
what
I
that
think,
is.
हाँ. So okay, so I think let's take a step back. अभी हमने जो बात की थी कि sustainable fashion and sustainable tech, ये दोनों एक बहुत trending दो spaces हैं in the international market space. और बाहर जो है ना, this is a tried and tested space. There are brands that are $1 million businesses which are only doing this. So they understand the market that's there. और पाकिस्तान उनके लिए एक बिल्कुल empty market है जहाँ पे अभी तक इस तरह का कुछ नहीं है. So they see a lot of space of growth over here. So I had been actively looking for investments for Bisbee to expand in Pakistan. तो उसके लिए I had applied for a program which was funded by the US Embassy, जिसमें 12 women entrepreneurs from all over Pakistan were selected, and they will be going for an investor outreach program for 3 months in Silicon Valley. So I had applied in that competition. I got shortlisted in the final 12. So yeah, that is the process. The one good thing that's happening in Pakistan recently is there a lot of focus is being placed on women entrepreneurs, which is something I would love to talk about as well. Because before starting my own business, I always felt like ये जो होता है ना inequality, women inequality वाली चीज़ exist नहीं करती. Maybe I was living in a family where I was treated as an equal to my brother. I had a husband who treated me as an equal, just like he would any other man. But when I started looking for investments now, और जब मैं actively present होना शुरू हुई as a sole founder, the red flags started popping up. कि A, आप अकेली लड़की founder हैं, and then B, you're married. Oh, you're married. Oh, you're going to have a kid. Oh, how are you going to manage it? And then I was like, I mean, why would you ask that question? But it is harder for a woman entrepreneur to make a successful company than it is for a man entrepreneur. Then I started reading upon the statistics, and last year only 3% women-led startups have raised investment. All others were men-led startups. So being a woman entrepreneur, I'm sorry, we've gone into a tangent, but just telling from experience that if there's someone out there who is a woman entrepreneur, you have to work maybe 5 times harder than your male counterpart.
Yeah. Because you really have to prove yourself.
Yeah. but yeah, तो ये इस तरह के programs, they're an amazing opportunity for us women entrepreneurs to get exposure, and then ये outreach program है ही particularly to raise investment, so they're only taking later stage startups. So yeah, this is an exciting opportunity for Bisbee, even in terms of strategic partnerships that we could build in the international markets. So yeah, this is something that I'm pretty excited about and looking forward to.
Yeah, so जब से आपने अपनी जर्नी ये शुरू की with 2 years ago with Bisbee, and now like you look back, how do you feel about it now? Like from
I feel sometimes it feels very surreal because when I started, there had been times, okay, I'll be very, very open about it. There were times when I started when I would go weeks without having sales, right? And then the days to bahut chota tha ki acha aaj ke din mein sale nahi hai. There were weeks that I wouldn't get sales. And then there were people who were like, you're wasting your time, nahi hoga. But pata nahi kuch, like there was something in me that said ki nahi, I just have to be patient, it'll happen. And now when I see my sales spiking, when I see it happening, when I see the community building,
and when you see acceptance,
yes, when I get messages from women saying that our sellers saying ki, this is such an amazing platform, I have now a monthly earning sitting at home, and then we have buyers saying these nice things, कि अच्छा, finally we have a platform that we can trust, and finally fraud नहीं हुआ हमारे साथ. So all of those things maybe make that 2-year experience struggle actually worthwhile for me. So yeah, it has been a roller coaster ride.
I think what you're doing, it's not just like a business where you make money, but you know that your social impact is so much.
Yes.
So I think that's a very wholesome feeling.
Yeah.
That you're doing more than just, making money. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Absolutely.
But like just still, it's just more than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So probably the reason for me now being into it, or me even when I started it, was more than the money. I would have probably made more money doing something else. But just the fact that it makes me feel so good when I see the business growing, when I see more sellers coming in, when I see more sellers selling their clothes, when I see fashion lovers getting what they like in such reasonable prices, and then they don't have to worry about the fact that अच्छा मेरे पास 1 लाख रुपए होंगे तो मैं ये चीज़ लूँगा, right? So just all of that coming together and then seeing it in the shape that it is now, it is, I guess it's a blessing as well from Allah Ta'ala that He gave me that patience to maybe go through that initial bad phase of the business.
It just feels like, you're the right person to do this thing.
Yeah, मैं सबको ये बताती हूँ कि I'm a boy shopper. So अगर मैं as a shopper like देखूँ ना fashion को अगर देखूँ, I'm a boy shopper, so I only let my clothes go once they're torn off. या कोई चूहा ना काट ले.
अब पहन ही नहीं सकती तो अब छोड़ना पड़ेगा.
And then मैं अगर बाजार भी जाऊँगी ना, so I cannot go in 4 shops and not buy anything. So मैं जाऊँगी, मुझे पता होगा मैंने यहाँ जाके ये लेना है, I would go in, I take it, I'd come out. So I can't window shop. So I'm अगर understanding the customer को समझे ना, तो I'm very opposite, but I think that's a good thing for me as well, क्योंकि कोई bias नहीं है मेरे दिमाग में. So I understand that customers need
as well
to हाँ exactly कि क्या चीज़ उनको drive करती है. So मेरी अपनी personal bias उसमें कोई है ही नहीं linked, क्योंकि I'm not that kind of a person. मैं एक दिन किसी से बात करी थी कि मैंने देखा है कि, और पहले मैं जजमेंटल होती थी, आई एम सॉरी, बट आई वाज अ लिटिल जजमेंटल ऑफ वुमेन हु वर सुपर इनटू क्लोथ्स ना. मैं कहती थी कि ये क्या, लाइक दिस इज सो इट्स वैनिटी, राइट? बट नाउ आई रियलाइज कि फॉर वुमेन फैशन ब्रिंग्स देम confidence and happiness, the same confidence that men get from having expensive cars and technology.
Yeah.
So it's ditto that feeling that women.
So there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong.
I feel there's nothing wrong with it. I just
Absolutely.
feel like what's wrong with is being judgmental of others who
Yes,
are not into
absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
Or who don't want to do it.
Absolutely, yes.
So like I said, sir, my pain point was always like, so what if somebody doesn't want to wear the latest?
Yes. Don't push them to do, or don't make them feel bad about it. Right?
Yeah, and it's okay if somebody, isn't following all the fast fashion trends
Yes.
and wearing the latest stuff and
Yes.
like.
So I was always the person, my mom used to make fun of me. So मेरा ये होता था कि जब चूड़ीदार का फैशन खत्म होता था तब मैं कहती थी अब बना दे. जब शॉर्ट शर्ट का फैशन खत्म होता था तो मैं कहती थी अब शॉर्ट शर्ट बना दे. I was always in my own zone. तो I was always judged. But खैर maybe I developed such a thick skin because of it. कि फिर मुझे
And
फर्क
that's
पड़ना
why you
बंद हो
were
गया.
able to do this, because if you
Yes.
didn't have a thick skin, then you would be
I
like,
would have been really
maybe
affected,
I shouldn't do
हाँ,
this.
क्योंकि people didn't think very highly of me starting this off.
हाँ,
but-
and I think it really matters कि like आपकी personal like वो क्या है people you're like surrounded with, अगर
Yes.
उनमें norm है तो फिर आप थोड़े out of the वो लगते हैं कि यार why are you not like this?
Yes.
हाँ.
But I
So
think
yeah, I
I've
get it.
accepted being that black sheep. And the one good thing that has come out of this is कि एक जो चीज़ थी जो मैं शायद पूरी लाइफ नहीं समझ पाई कि why are women so into fashion, वो शायद मुझे समझ आ गया. Now I'm more empathetic towards it. So I guess a lot of positive, even my own growth has happened in my journey in Bisbee.
So मेरे साथ पता है क्या हुआ था, like as a blogger I used to get so many people like for PR of
Yes,
their clothes,
yes.
na. And in this start, because like I just started and I was younger also, and so it was just part of the stuff. So I used to take a lot of PR. और मेरे दिमाग में होता था support small businesses and all that, and it's important to support small businesses, obviously. I'm not saying it's not. And as an influencer or blogger, I play a huge part in that, where it's part of my job to help support small businesses.
Absolutely, yes.
But like in the process of supporting small businesses, or doing what I'm supposed to do, like take PR, show people, I gathered a lot of stuff.
I'm sure, yeah.
ठीक है? And stuff that I didn't even need.
Yes.
Stuff that I had only because I had to,
Make content out of it.
and I had to I can't support a small business before trying their stuff
Obviously,
out.
yeah.
So in order to support a small business, I had to get the clothes, I
Product,
had to
yes.
wear the clothes, I
Yeah.
had to show the clothes.
Yeah.
And I ended up having a lot of clothes that I didn't need.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that went very against the sort of person I am. I won't say the beliefs I had, but just the sort of person I am, because generally I'm the kind of person, and this isn't like something कि मैंने consciously सोचा कि मुझे ऐसा होना चाहिए, but I'm just this kind of person who was a very mindful shopper always. अगर मुझे कोई चीज़ नहीं समझ में आती या it doesn't like perfectly click with me, I'm not going to buy it.
Okay.
No matter how pretty it is, or even if it's not expensive or it looks amazing, लेकिन अगर मुझे उसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है ना,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to buy it. And I'm the kind of person जिसकी इतनी mindful shopping होती है कि I would take hours and hours and hours to buy one piece,
Really?
because I will not spend on like something that I know I will not wear.
Okay.
And then that sort of person ending up with
So many clothes.
so many things.
Yeah.
And then I just sort of like stopped accepting PR and taking it, because I realized the amount of waste that I was gathering. हाँ मैं ले तो रही थी वो कपड़े, और वो मुफ्त के भी आ रहे थे technically, but they were like, because I'm the sort of person who wears what I really love,
Yeah.
and what I've really bought after a lot of thinking. तो वो बस लटके रहते थे, और वो अच्छे कपड़े थे, so maybe उनकी बहुत sales हो गई उसके बाद या जो भी हुआ, but that piece of clothing really started to make me feel bad eventually. And like no space in the house, storage issues.
I can imagine.
So then I was like, and then that's when I decided कि I really have to, like, अगर मैंने PR लेनी भी है, so I really have to, like, I'm sorry for all the small businesses that I don't end up supporting anymore. I don't know how much of my content, if you ever watch, but there's very few PR on my stories. आता है of course,
noticed,
but बहुत कम आता है, और कपड़ों का बहुत ही कम आता है, because because मुझे like it just makes me feel really bad to own all of these clothes, you know. Yeah, so then और पता नहीं बीच में मैंने इस तरह भी हुआ कि I did a couple of giveaways कि अच्छा लोगों को ही दे दूँ. बट जिन लोगों के साथ PR किया था लाइक वो माइंड कर गए कि हमने आपको भेजा था और whatever, and then I stopped doing that as well, you know. So then like फिर मेरा जो PR है when it comes to clothing वो बहुत stop हो गया, and then I found out कि you know इससे wastage भी कितनी होती है and all of these things that we just talked about. So yeah, it was a thing जो मेरे अंदर develop हुई recently, and then I stopped hoarding so many clothes and just sort of keeping them. Because मेरा यही problem है, मुझे आपने 50% वाली बात की थी. I only wear things I really love. तो अगर मेरी क्लोजेट में बहुत सारे कपड़े पड़े होते ना तो मैं उसमें से 40% ही यूज कर रही होती.
ऐसे होता है.
Because I'm not going to wear something I don't love.
Absolutely. Because you want to feel good once you're wearing anything, you want to feel good in it.
Yeah,
right?
so मैं रोज वही एक ग्रीन स्वेटर पहन लूंगी. You know, because I love it. और मेरे वो ब्लू ब्राउन और पिंक भी पड़ा होगा लेकिन मैं रोज वो ग्रीन पहनूंगी because you know I'm just like that. And I realized that about myself. So I was like, you know, I can't be that person who buys all of these things
just because
I can, you know.
Yeah. And then
So,
just because society drives you to make it.
What's the point if you're not even wearing that stuff? So हाँ मेरा ये एक as a blogger ये एक thought process रहा है where now I have considerably reduced the amount of clothing PR that I, और उसमें ये भी होता है कि अगर कोई चीज़ है जो वाकई मुझे बहुत चाहिए थी, then I take that PR like this. Yeah, I love this. I know I will wear it.
Yeah.
I just have to make sure that I will wear this.
Yeah.
And then it's fine, you know. ठीक है. फिर मुझे पहले फील होता था कि शायद ये बड़ी सेल्फिश चीज़ है because you know I'm going to be helping someone's business और मैं ये कर रही हूँ. But no, it's so much more to that. हाँ कि यार कोई बात नहीं, if I'm not supporting that small business, but there are other reasons.
Absolutely, yes.
I don't need it. I don't want it.
Yes.
So
and then you could just maybe like just give them a shout out if they need the support. But then
I can't make credibility है ना. I can't vouch for something that I haven't tried or tested.
Absolutely. It's a huge I think liability on the shoulders of influencers.
Yeah, like you said that. Yeah, you know, people are listening to us and doing what we do. So फिर like
it is a huge responsibility.
Yeah,
I can imagine. So yeah, but this is it's so enlightening to because हमेशा जब भी when you think about influencers, you think they have a ton of clothes that they get all the time and then they're very happy about it. So it's such a refreshing thing to hear from you. But I guess you've always been that kind of I follow, I think next to no influencers ever. It was my own thing. But मैंने आपका content follow किया था, and then primarily because I loved the fact that you always talked about things that mattered. You always talked about social causes, and then there was stuff other than fashion that was being discussed. So I always loved your content primarily because of that, and I think this entire story that you told goes perfectly with what you stood for since forever.
But like I did it, like I said मैंने किया था, and then I realized यार नहीं है, सही नहीं है. इसमें there's a flaw in this entire thing.
Yeah, because till when, right?
Yeah.
I don't. So there was this one influencer that we partnered with. She ended up selling, I think, 120 of her items, which were only PR.
See?
So yes, there's a lot of PR that gets accumulated, I guess.
So yeah, I think we've pretty much talked about a lot of great stuff here and everything.
Yes.
Anything else?
A happy chirp moment.
Anything else?
No, it was honestly a pleasure. I love, everyone says कि जब भी when you talk about Bisbee, I get super happy when I'm talking about Bisbee. It's like I'm talking about my kids' achievements, right? बच्चे भी आप बताते नहीं हो कि आज इसने पहला word बोला है. So मुझे actually वही वाली excitement feel होती है. So but it was an absolute pleasure कि you were receiving all the information with as much excitement that I was.
Yeah, like I actually genuinely feel excited and also proud. Like I don't know, like I just feel proud because you are. I don't know. I guess it's your happiness and your success.
Yeah.
Okay, naturally, like you know, I feel proud. You know, you've come this far and you're doing something that is so great.
Thank you.
So yeah, I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you so much.
And it was a very refreshing conversation. A lot to
Likewise,
learn from it.
honestly.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Happy Chirp. Please look into Bisbee and let's all try to be more sustainable when it comes to fashion. Maybe I'll sell my wardrobe on Bisbee. So if you want my wardrobe, you might find it on Bisbee. And thank you so much once again. Allah Hafiz.